it's almost like what has happened with soccer here is what the NFL wants to have happen everywhere else with football.
Yeah.
And it's not something that happens like that. It is a slow and gradual building and building and building. And the NFL is determined to get there. They're determined to make it happen. As evidenced by the fact that there will be an unprecedented number of international games this year, 9. They have the right under the current labor deal to play 10 international games every year. They want to get to 16. 16.
There it is.
With 18 regular season games. That's coming. It's just a matter of time. There are the 9 games. They were announced yesterday. Just the fact that they break out from the regular scheduling leaks, the dribs and drabs, if you will.
Yeah.
A moment, 9 a.m. Eastern yesterday, where they unveil all 9 games. Now, most of them had leaked and or been announced since then. We knew about Rams 49ers. We knew about Ravens Cowboys in Brazil. They had announced Falcons Bengals in Madrid. There had been reports of some of the other games like Steelers Saints in Paris. But it's a big deal now for the NFL.
Really big
deal. And
deal.
I raised this question yesterday. At risk of being perceived as difficult. I raised the question as to whether and to what extent the domestic fan cares about any of this. And I was asked about the topic from a different perspective last night on KJR Radio in Seattle. And I hadn't really thought of it this way recently. I'm sure I have at some point. But there is, and I'm just speaking truth here, there is an impact every year on competitive integrity of the season. And that's unavoidable. We hear that word get thrown around all the time. Integrity of the game. And one of the reasons they never change rules during the season. They're concerned with the integrity of the season, of course, except when they aren't, like when somebody wanted John Gruden out as head coach of the Raiders, and it wasn't done before the season or after the season, but during the season, which necessarily undermined the integrity of the season. But we heard from Kyle 6 weeks ago in Arizona about being dragged to Australia, and what that does and will do to preparation and recovery. And off we go, moving forward. And they lost the advantage of going to SoFi Stadium and taking it over with 49ers fans. Mm-hmm. So there really is. And one of the components now, and this is why I bring it up, what did fans do? They look at the schedule to see, did they get lucky or did they get hosed? How many teams are we facing coming off of their bye week?
Right.
How many consecutive road games do we have at some stretch? If you're a season ticket holder, how many times do I have to go to a game Sunday and then turn around and do it again on Thursday night? We see fans have to do that. Just all the little things that affect the team and the fan experience. Well, beyond losing the home game or losing a road game you could travel to, there are potential competitive impacts of teams now being asked to pack up their stuff and go all over the world. And so my point is this. The NFL doesn't care about that. The NFL cares more about growing the game globally to the point where it is willing to undermine the integrity of the sport. And I think this is why they want to get to 16. If every team has to do it...
You mean 18, yeah.
No, 16 international games.
Oh, sorry, gotcha. Yep.
They want to play 16 international games, so everybody has to do one.
Yeah.
It's like it used to be with Thursday Night Football.
Right.
Back before they decided nobody wants to watch Jaguars-Titans on a mandatory Thursday night in December, and no one will watch I remember there was a time when the two teams were both very bad and they were playing, and my wife looked at me and said, "Why are you watching this?" And they had the color rush uniform. It's like, great question. I know it's my job, but why am I watching this? Back then, it was mandatory everybody do a short week for competitive balance. And I had never really thought about this until now. It's about competitive balance and competitive integrity to require every team to do it. Somewhere, it's nagging at someone that this does create a competitive imbalance, Chris.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no doubt about that. First off, we've been talking, I feel like, the 49ers with travel and all of that. I mean, 3 out of the last 4 years, I feel like they've been up there or led the NFL in what they've had to do. So here they are once again, kind of getting screwed at the drive-through, as we like to say here on the show, one more time here. So, yeah, there is definitely, you're right. And it does seem that it affects the upper echelons of the teams, as you know, as we talk about. If you're good and you're a team that the NFL wants to showcase, yeah, they're gonna move you around. Now, yes, do they care right now? No, because this is for the greater good. But I would agree with you that, yeah, ultimately it would be great to get to 16 games, so everybody has to do that. The NFL is always going to be able to sit there and go, hey, you know, we moved the Chiefs around everywhere a few years ago. They still won the Super Bowl. Deal with it, right? And that's the way NFL teams and players think. So there is definitely that. You're not wrong about that. But I will say this about this schedule here. You know, just to get off a topic but back on here just for a second, it's just that I looked at the schedule. I said this yesterday. I thought this was the best international slate of games that I can ever remember. I really am. I mean, I usually look at the international games and go, oh, we put them over there? Like, are they trying to grow the game, or are they trying to get people to get bored watching football? Like, what are they trying to do? I look at this matchup here, and other than Steelers and Saints over in Paris, I think every other one I look at, I go, whoa. I mean, Ravens, Cowboys in Rio. I mean, especially week 3, you're guaranteed a good one. Let's not forget the Colts are damn good. And if Daniel Jones didn't get hurt, they'd have been in the playoffs. And Jaden Daniels is going to bounce back. The 2 Jaguar games, Eagles and Texans, holy crap. I mean, I'd be shocked if those 3 teams aren't in the playoffs. You're going to get to see Joe Burrow and a talented Falcons team. Of course, the Patriots and the Lions, which would be shocking if they weren't relevant at that time. And then back to Mexico City with 2 good teams in the Niners and Vikings. I don't know how you feel about it, but I just looked at it yesterday and just went, I don't remember this many heavy hitters traveling and big time. We're in the Super Bowl window, in the Super Bowl conversation doing it. And I think that's a cool thing for the overall growth of the game.
I think it's a great point. And once you get to 18 total opponents that have to go. Now, we see the Jaguars twice and the 49ers twice, so we've got 16 total teams, I believe, that will be playing internationally. That's when you have no choice but to include some of the better teams.
Yeah.
And you're right, they're leaning into it even more than ever, and they want to lean into it all the way to the point where you've got 16 games. And I'm assuming now, will they get to the point where they play 2 international games in the same week? I think there are going to be certain weeks where if you're going to do, and obviously if they go to 18 regular season games with 2 byes, there's going to be 20 total weeks, and there's 16 international games. It could just be 1 a week from week 1 through week 16, and then for the final 4 weeks of the season, there are none. At some point, the international games need to stop, and people need to focus on getting into their routine as they make their final push for the postseason.
Agreed.
But it does create, and even within the reality of 16 international games, you're going to have some teams that have to travel farther than others. Melbourne versus Mexico City, for example. And the fact that the 49ers have to go twice this year, including Australia. And I saw some Vikings fans who were upset by the fact that they have to go anywhere this year because there was a sense that because they did 2 games last year back-to-back and disrupted their season and potentially impacted their ability to compete, they wouldn't have to do it this year. And that's now like a thing. Oh, do we have to go internationally? Oh, we don't. This is the first year that there's that sigh of relief that comes from the fan bases that don't have to play a game elsewhere. So as this initiative grows, it's introducing new wrinkles and new concerns. And we would not be doing our job if we didn't point it out. I know that some would prefer that we simply say it's awesome and it's great and it's wonderful that all these games are being exported to other countries in an effort to get their fans as passionate as we are about football. Many American fans, frankly, do not care. And if anything, when they think about the ramifications of this, they'll be a little bit upset that this curveball has been introduced into the mix of determining who the best teams are. And you're right. They moved the Chiefs all over the place, all over the chessboard, and they loved it.
Yeah.
They craved it. They wanted those big platform games. And I think their attitude is it's the justification that I remember the Jets giving for embracing Hard Knocks 16 years ago. You know, we want to be in big pressure-packed moments.
Yeah.
We want scrutiny.
Yeah.
We want guys
Right.
to be asked questions, and we want to be the center of attention because if you're going to be highly successful, you'll be the center of attention at some point, specifically if you make it to the Super Bowl. So it did help the Chiefs,
Yeah.
but I think
the Chiefs are special.
can potentially
so.
hurt teams too.
Yeah, right.
It can hurt teams too. And
Yeah.
maybe if the Chiefs didn't have to go here, there, this way, we're playing this game, we're playing that game, we have no routine, we have no normalcy, maybe they would have gone undefeated that year. I don't know.
No,
if
no.
they were playing
I hear
most
you.
of their games in a more regular pace.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
well, and it also meshes, Chris, with this idea of carving off all the different games and tucking them into all the different windows, and we have varying levels of rest. Like, this is just the new reality for NFL teams. There isn't going to be balance. Some teams are going to be all over the place, and the NFL makes no bones about that. They want the best games possible in the standalone windows to have the highest possible ratings, so when it's time to go back to the table and negotiate new contracts, you can get the highest possible dollar value for it. They don't want bad games in prime time. They want good games in prime time.
No, I think, a lot of these international games
they now want
eggs.
good games internationally.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think it's that thought. That's what they got to get to.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.